Everybody, it's kind of dark out here right now. Me and B actually got together for a little bit of flying. I just got out of work. As you can see, I'm still in uniform here. We're in where Temple Terrace.
Temple Terrace, yeah.
We're at a place that I fly at a lot, and I kind of wanted to do this for a while for everybody to kind of talk about what my experience was as a beginner getting into FPV, because I've been at this for like a year now. I think I started
more than a year. Actually.
maybe a little more than a year. What's up, Cryptonics?
Hey, what's up, Cryptonics?
So I've been at this for close to, like I said, around a year. I think I started with the Bugs 3. Is really what initiated it.
Yeah, I believe it was the Bugs 3. You were flying FPV when I met you.
Right.
So.
Right. So I had already gotten the Bugs 3. I designed my own camera system for it for FPV. I was looking into what milliwatts were and all that fun stuff. So Eric Harris, what's up? Michael McReynolds, hey. Val, what's going on? Tim Richardson's the deal. Is this a good deal? A 3DR solo and backpack for 35? I would say that's a pretty good deal. So really what this conversation is going to be about, is that Brian? That is Brian. That is Drone on YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, make sure you make your way over there and do that. Today's kind of be about like beginners and what you should really be looking for if you're trying to jump into FPV. What's up, Dalton? What's up, guys? So I think I started maybe with a bird that was a bit too aggressive. For flying FPV, I think Bugs 3 was kind of a evil drone to start with, I think. But you know what? It taught me valuable lessons about crashing and and all the fun stuff that goes along with it. But I think the real basis is what Brian is good at. Brian, why don't you tell him about micros? Because I think that's really a great starting point, is talking about whoops and micros, especially if you're getting into FPV. So why don't you tell him?
It's a really good way to get started. And, you know, it's a low-cost solution to get started. And, you know, you can crash your micro, you can fly it indoors, you can get a feel for FPV, get a feel for the space around you. That's kind of how I started. I bought an Inductrix, and then I put a camera on it, and I didn't have a proper pair of FPV goggles, so I tried to build one out of an app and a screen and a goggle set I got from Walmart, and I thought I was flying FPV, but I was struggling, I was crashing all the time, and I tried a real set of FPV goggles, and it was like night and day. So I turned around and I spent the money and I bought some real goggles. So it'll give you a good opportunity to get a good feel for getting up in the air, getting your spatial awareness, getting a feel for your forward and back, getting used to looking at the goggles into the camera without going outside and crashing a big drone and having to do a lot of repairs. And you can do it in the comfort of your home, and that's the beauty of it. You can just sit down, take your time.
So the aspect of micros is really the fact that you can crash them.
Yes.
A ton of times before they take any kind of real damage, which is great for anyone starting, because obviously you don't want to... Hand me the Mantis. Obviously, you don't want to start with something like this. This is the Mantis 85. You guys have been watching this on my channel. This is a brushless little micro. This goes extremely fast. This is not something for beginners at all. At all.
It looks like a toy.
Right, it does. It looks like a toy, but it's very, very fast. It's not good for beginners. So Brian's going to show you the concept of what micros really are and whoops, so that you have an idea.
This, it's got... the propeller has guard, so when you hit against a wall, it doesn't do a lot of damage, doesn't take your drone down. You can actually sustain a couple of hits against walls, mirrors, couches, ceiling fans, like I do often, and keep flying. And if you hit somebody like your son, like I do frequently, it's not going to do a lot of damage. The props aren't really going to hit anything. It's a really great way to get started, a low-cost solution.
So top speed on something like this is close to like maybe 20 miles an hour, you'd say,
yeah,
pushing it as hard as it'll go.
On a good day.
Something like this would go almost 50 on a 2S battery if you were pushing it really hard. This would punch a hole through your wall.
Yeah,
break a window, smack somebody in the face. These motors would cut you up because they're powerful.
Yeah, they'll do damage.
They'll damage you. This is running on a 7.4 battery. Most of those are running on 1S, right?
Yep.
Most of them are all 1S. This is a 2S on 7.4, and this will damage some stuff. So
those little whoops run on little tiny batteries,
right?
Like this.
Mine's running on that fat clunker chunk on the bottom, on the bottom there.
It's a big difference.
It's a massive difference in power and performance. So never start with something over. Think about it like riding a motorcycle. When you first get a motorcycle, okay, do you immediately jump into a 1300 Hayabusa? Or do you start with like a 250 Hyosung or something like that? You know what I'm saying? And then work your way up progressively into a larger bike. It's the same principle with flying FPV race quads. So the other thing I really wanted to touch on was equipment is everything. You never want to buy something because it's cheap in hopes that it's going to work for your needs, because the reality of it is the majority of the time it's probably not going to be good for you and your learning experience, and it's going to drive you away from something you might potentially really enjoy. You just didn't have a good time because you purchased cheap equipment. So these micros are very affordable. I mean, we have a whole stash of micros going on up here right now, guys. We're just having fun out here. We're having a blast. But these are drones that really can't get hurt too easily. Like, there's something you can really bash, will take a good bashing and survive, and you won't have to keep forking out tons of money to fix them. Most of these, like the Leica Boss, grab the any one of the Boss series. These cost about $25 to $30 to build, and they act like they're on a 2S. These things are extremely fast. You can fly them on what? Silverware?
Silverware.
Which as a beginner, you're not going to really get into, but as you get more involved in FPV, you'll start ordering multi-protocol boards. You'll start pushing the boundaries of what your knowledge is, and you'll continue going from there.
You know,
he's still an expert at it. I'm still in the learning phases of all that multi-protocol stuff.
Big advantage, and I'm not trying to cut you off in any way, is
Absolutely.
that people are not scared of micros. You can't pick up a lot of drones and just start flying them around a parking lot.
Right.
People start freaking out. They're scary. A micro, people don't even notice, or they laugh at you. I go a lot of places and fly, and people don't pay me any mind. And other times I go to places and fly, and they want to just kick me right out, just like any other drone. But a lot of times, as a matter of fact, I was flying last night. The cleaning crew guy pulled up. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm flying a drone." He's like, "Where is it?" And I flew it in. He's like, "Oh, that's so cool." I'm like, "Hey, I'll leave, dude." He's like, "No, man, fly all you want. Have a good time." They don't care. But if I was flying a race drone, they'd ask me to leave immediately.
So that is the potential of having a Whoop, is that, especially if you, my suggestion if you're going to start off as a beginner, is to purchase a decent Whoop. Something that's going to give you all three phases of flying, which would be obviously angle or stabilized flying, horizon, and acro. So if you buy one of those, then you basically have purchased something that you can learn all three phases of flight with without having to upgrade to something else later on because it doesn't have those modes. So something like what? King Kong makes a lot of stuff. They have ready to fly packages for King Kong for like $120, $130. You can get a Tiny 7.
Tiny 7
with transmitter, right? Tiny 6.
8
yep.
Now,
they have
be the same size as this.
So that's the what? 85 millimeter. And this comes with all three flight modes. This is something that most people could afford to buy, ready to fly, and then all you have to do is choose your goggles. So we were going back into equipment is everything. I wasn't lying when I said that, guys. You know, what you're seeing in your goggles is everything when it comes to flying.
It's very important.
It is the most important part of flying, is how decent your equipment is that you're flying with, because if your goggles suck, you're not going to have an enjoyable experience, and you're going to really push away from that platform and go back to what you know. Most people start in GPS and stabilized mode. I'm the same way. I started that way.
I started.
Right. But then I realized how much fun acro and the ability to fully control this bird 100% without having the gyros on, altitude hold, GPS, all that other stuff. It's almost the feeling of absolute and complete freedom when you actually get right. You feel like a bird. Exactly. You feel like there's no limitation to where you can go or how you can react to the air that it's pushing. Your air management on these is just absolute craziness, and it gives you that feeling of 100% freedom to do whatever you want to do. If you want to zip over the top of a tree, all you got to do is punch the throttle, roll right over the top of it, and come right back underneath it.
Got to do it.
Just like a bird. It gives you that sensation of just complete freedom of floating and doing whatever you want to do. So I thought this was important to talk about, just because I keep getting questions from people, you know, how's your acro going? How's your FPV training? Are you doing good? Are you happy with how things are going? You know, everyone's going to learn at a different pace. All I can tell you is that if you want to get it down fast and have that notion of enjoyment, the best thing to do is purchase decent equipment. You're going to have a lot better time. You're going to enjoy the experience.
And that's what you're in it for in the first place, is the experience.
Right. I promise you, once you start flying micros and whoops and you get that feeling of FPV, being able to just cruise through your house underneath the chair, through it,
more,
you know, the salt shaker looks like a salt shaker of death when you're flying across your counter with a whoop. It's like, oh, you know, it's a totally different world. Your ceiling fan becomes lava,
yeah,
you know, whatever, a bird of prey, however you want to see it. So it's just something that I think everyone should enjoy. ZZ, what's up? Dalton, try to use those jet engine powered
yes, it does.
Fly with a whoop. Granny Monster, Ray Smith. What about the drone Bold Clash B Whoop BO3 Pro? That's probably more of a question for this guy. He can probably answer that a little better.
This was a BO3 Pro at one point in time until I flashed the board. It still has the B Whoop board. But Kryptonics was talking about a good starter drone to start off with was the H8 Mini, which is what this is right here.
H8. But this has now been flashed with?
Yeah, I flashed it with silverware.
So now this can do full acro and everything else.
I just basically
full acro.
Put a camera on the front of it, an all-in-one lightweight camera, and I fly it FPV.
So that was originally what, a $12 H8 Mini that he
yep.
you know, installed silverware.
The camera was $16 on Amazon.
801 LDS said, how? Maybe you should do a video on your channel.
No, I think I really should do a silverware video because I get asked every day now, and it's just a matter of me doing it and getting my things together to make it cohesive without me rambling. So I think that is coming, and I would like to do a beta FPV light board. It's the same process for a B-Whoop.
Hey, we got a new subscriber.
Hey.
Sarah, the chosen one. I like that.
Hey,
thanks for stopping in. Ray, no problem. So, Brian, you're going to do a silverware installation video on your channel?
Yeah, here in the future, how to flash silverware on a silverware capable board.
Kryptonics put fast motors and silverware. It's nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we know. We've been watching.
I don't have the fast motors yet. We were talking about it earlier. Like, my motors are starting to go, and I'm too lazy to open it up and put the fast motors in it. But I will eventually.
I hear you, Granny. So, guys, we're going to shut this stream down. This is Brian with
hey guys, thanks for your time.
Drone on YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, please make sure to make your way over there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Always the shout out. We're going to keep flying here. I got another 3 packs to burn off. We're going to have some more fun. Thanks for stopping in, guys. If you haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you do that.
Do it.
And I'm out of here. Toodaloo.